me. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pardon me, I've got so many things on my mind, I'm losing track. So Abe is here to give us a little rundown on what he feels is going on with our current roof, which I'll ask him to speak to. And I'll ask him to speak to what he would recommend. And then we can go through pricing, and then we will have a vote which Kyle will moderate as our moderator. So can you give us an update of what our roof looks like at this point?
Okay, at this point, I went up on the roof earlier this spring, and I was originally asked to look at the valleys, and as you can see, the valleys are sort of peeling apart, and there's a lot of rust and pitting going on. And so when I went up there to look at it, I realized the way that the valleys are put together are not correct. They're not really hemmed correctly. And then at the peak of the valleys, the way that they're put together, they're just screwed together and basically relying on gasket and screws and not the way it's supposed to be. And then where the rest of the metal, when I walked around, it's all starting to pit. There's parts probably about quarter size, pretty much all over the roof, to where the paint's coming off, and where the paint is off, the metal's pitting. So to me, that's, if you're looking at it at a lifetime span, it's going to continue. Those spots that are pitted now are going to continue to go rust through the metal, and the spots where we can't see yet could start pitting anywhere around the roof. So what I feel and what we had talked about was initially just replacing where the two valleys are and all the pans that are attached to them, and then just finishing off both sides of the dormers that pop out in front and the back. And that was the original idea. And then after looking at the roof and seeing the pitting on the rest of the pans and what the life expectancy is going to be on those, is possibly redoing the whole thing.
So I had asked him about a corrugated roof, because that had been brought up before. Can you tell us the pros and cons?
The pros with corrugated is mainly cost. It would be much cheaper to go with corrugated. The problem with going with corrugated is when you're going to valley situations like that and you get the ice jams. Mainly with corrugated, you're relying on foam and caulking, and if you have large ice jams that continue to creep, they'll actually pull the metal off and tear the metal. I see it quite often, do a lot of repairs on it. And with standing seam, if it's done correctly and all of the valleys are hemmed and seamed together properly, they should never come up. I mean, you can have as much snow and ice as long as you remove the ice when it starts getting too thick and it starts really building, which you'll have to do with any type of roof. The metal should last much longer. Corrugated, you're also relying on the screws. The gaskets on the screws are only warranted for up to 10 years, and you have to replace every single one of them, because if they dry rot and it fails because of the screw, they will not warranty you on any leaking damage. So you'd have to hire somebody to go up basically every 10 years and replace every screw to keep your warranty.
So what's a warranty on a standing seam roof?
Just the paint alone warranty is 25 years. And then after that, it's like, it is a prorated warranty. And if the company I use has been around for 50 years, it's Engler Steel. You guys can look it up, I can leave you the information, and you can look up all their warranty information. And yeah, they've been around for 50 years, and they're a very good company to work with. I mean, you can pretty much you can talk to anybody there at the company, and they'll tell you all about the warranty. I can print it out for you as well. But usually you go with a 25-year with the paint, and then from there they prorate you.
Does the board have any questions for Abe?
Well, I got a question. We're, how long on our roof now? 20?
How long has the roof been on?
Yeah,
I don't know when it was put
like
on.
27 years, something like that.
27.
So that roof met its life already because it was only 25 years?
No, I mean, a good standing seam roof should last at least 50 years. I believe the company that was used on this roof is no longer in business.
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
Were they out of St. Albans or something? That's just what I heard through the.
Yes. I was on the select board at the time.
Okay, so the company that I use is, like I said, it's been around for 50 years. They're a huge national company. I don't
So-
foresee them going anywhere.
No offense, but what if you go out of business and we have a warranty issue? Do we call up the company and say, hey, look, so-and-so installed it? And they'll honor it and hire a company to fix it?
Okay, so this is how it works with most warranties. So pretty much, I personally will put a 5-year labor warranty on it. Most companies only put a year. After a year, that's it.
I don't know.
And then, so that company will help pay for, it'll be prorated, help pay for labor as well. It's sort of like a shingle company, they do the same.
Now, did you tell me that there was a serial number on
Each coil.
each coil of roofing?
Yeah.
So that it can be proved that it belongs to this company if you were to have a warranty?
Yes. Yep. Every coil comes with a lot number and basically a warranty number. And as soon as you purchase it, you take the tags, and I would go online, I'll do it all for you. So it'll already be done and you'll already be in their system. So all you would have to do if there was ever an issue, you would call them and tell you, and you would have the number on file as well. And then you would talk to them, give them the number, and then they'll leave the warranty.
How well did you look in the building underneath of the structure that you would be putting that on? Do you see the whole structure underneath? Like up in the attic?
No, the only place I saw were where the leaks were coming through the roof.
On the valleys?
Yep, around the valleys. Yep.
But what's your opinion on taking that roof up as far as finding other complications on the main roof?
I would say, from what I have seen, the valleys, you might have some plywood to replace. Otherwise, unless, I haven't been up in the attic, so I can go, I would definitely be willing to go up there and look at.
Well, it's just
look at it closer.
a question because no one at the school has a complication.
Yes.
And so we were.
School's definitely a little bit more, has a little bit more going on. There's just so many sections
yes.
and a lot of penetrations and a lot more flashing. And basically the flashing details at the school is
Right.
what the main cause of the leaks were.
Yeah.
And with this, it's just a straightforward
Yeah, these
roof.
are straight.
You really shouldn't have, I can't imagine there
Right.
being very many complications.
Yeah, well, that makes us feel better knowing that. 'Cause I know that it's always been a valley problem, and according to the past select boards, it's been a problem for a while. So I'm almost positive that some of the plywood would possibly have to be replaced in those alleys.
Yeah, a little plywood and possibly maybe changing out a rafter or two, but that's.
Or just slabbing, whatever, yeah. What's the material you use in those valleys?
Well, I would, for this, underneath it,
Yeah.
I would be using, it's a Carlisle product, it's very similar to Grace, which a lot of people probably know about. It's Grace Ice and Water. It's just made by Carlisle, who makes all rubber membranes,
Right.
basically for almost all flat roofing.
Do you think there was anything under that?
There probably is just
No.
paper.
It's just
probably
paper, it's
just
not-
paper.
Well, that just
But it's
answered a lot of
the heavier
questions for
paper.
everybody.
Yeah, it's sort of the same issue at the school. It's, the school, I don't know, that was done early enough to where they had ice and water and they should have used it.
Anyway.
But here, 20 plus years ago, they might not have it, so.
So let's just say at 20, 3 years it starts to pit, they would back that up?
Yes.
Claire?
I have a two-part question. First of all, are you bonded?
I will be for this job, yes.
Okay. What gauge of metal would you be using on the roof, and what gauge of metal do we have on the roof at this point?
I would be using 24 gauge, which is a commercial roofing gauge. I have not checked to see what the gauge is. I mean,
It's either 26 or 24.
yeah, usually it's 26 or 24. Yeah, that's pretty standard. Once you use the 24, you're actually, because you're hitting the commercial grade steel, it's a commercial grade paint as well, and that's where you get the better warranty.
And are the seams welded, or are they just crimped?
No, they're crimped together with a two-stage lock. So there's the first lock, basically it hooks together, and then the first lock brings it so it's flat, and the second lock actually curls this whole section, so it's just a straight seam.
Is it mechanical crimp or hand crimp?
We do both. We have a machine, but to get it started and to make sure that everything's nice and tight, we actually hand crimp it first to get it started, and then from there we use a machine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's the difference in the gauge of the steel between a corrugated roof and a standing seam roof?
Corrugated is traditionally 29 gauge.
Okay, what's a corrugated roof?
What is it?
I mean, what's the difference in the gauge as far as the steel that's used, or?
Yeah, 29 gauge would be what a corrugated would be.
And it's 20 what for the steel
It's
roof?
24.
So it's a thicker gauge is what you're saying?
Yes, so the lower the number with the gauge, the thicker it gets. And with the corrugated, you can literally just bend it with your hand.
Even the commercial corrugated roofs?
You can, if you want to spend the money on those, you're still relying on the gasket.
So they would be the same gauge if you bought a commercial corrugated
You
roof?
can get a 24 gauge commercial corrugated, but you're going to be spending the money on the metal. It's a little more expensive than, the cheaper corrugated. And then once again, you're relying on the gaskets.
Anyone else? Dave?
Did you take pictures and supply them to the select board of all the damage
For here?
for up top and
Yeah,
like the quarter size
I gave you pictures, yeah.
spot?
Our engineer did as well.
Question. What do you think made the pitting on the roof?
It probably had something to do with either the type of paint that they used, or maybe just the metal compounds were not, wasn't a good grade of metal. That was used.
That makes, your pit sort of look like a little hole, right? A little.
It's basically the
indentation.
start, it's the start of a hole.
But is there indentation in the,
No, it sort of looks like, yeah, it's sort of crazy, sort of like a scab, sort of scabby. Yeah. Should be able to do it. Possibly, if you had a bad enough hailstorm, very well possibly could.
and I've got another question. When does that roof leak? Does it leak just in the winter, or does it leak year round?
At least year round.
Even a regular rainstorm it leaks?
The cap also is not done correctly. It's just screwed down instead of actually been crimped. And basically, if you get enough wind and rain, it can blow up underneath the cap if it's not done correctly.
So you don't believe if you repair it, it would be just as good, well, obviously that's because of new roof, but if you were to repair it, would it be stable for the next 10 or 15 years as opposed to replacing it?
Well, repairing the roof as in how?
As in
Just taking
tearing out the
metal-
valleys and taking up the areas that need to be repaired?
Yep.
I mean, is the pitting something that you could repaint the roof on and not have to put a new roof on? Or if you repaired the seams that are leaking in the areas that are bad, would that be a way to go rather than putting an entire roof on?
Well, we did talk about that a little bit, about painting it. The thing about painting it is, don't know how long it's gonna last, but it's something to do with the metal. The metal will still rust underneath, and then you'll have holes. So it's not.
The other two things about replacing is, one, you're putting $36,000 in for replacement. I think that's the price.
36,550.
$36,550 to replace. And then two, you'll never get the steel the same color, which matters to some, matters to some others, but that is part of it. So I guess those are the two other things about replacing.
Also tying into it later on, it will be harder to, once it's mechanically fastened, after we're done doing it, and then somebody has to, once the other part starts to fail, then you'll have to go in and pull apart panels that we put on, maybe 5 years before, and you're gonna have to replace some of those as well.
Fine.
I personally hate seeing the money being spent, but putting Band-Aids on the roof we have now, Band-Aids fall off. And this is the problem that we're up against. You just put a Band-Aid on this and it lasts for 10 years. I think it costs you a third more to replace it 10 years from now. So just
I will tell you, in the interest of fairness, that we have put this out for bid several times. We did get a bid from Vermont Copper, which was much more than Abe's bid. We also did get a separate bid for a corrugated roof, which was $87,000 from Next Generation. And I'm happy to let people see those bids.
What was the grade of the steel on that corrugated?
That's what I was looking for.
They don't say,
Doesn't say.
out of curiosity.
It's probably the 29.
The 29.
I can tell you that it's not the 20.
It's not, it's 26 maybe.
I was told it's a commercial grade, it's like ideal, okay? And they were going to purchase the product over at McEwen's locally. They could purchase it anywhere, but they were going to purchase the product over at McEwen's, because when I asked the person to come and make a bid, what kind of roof are you gonna give us? He said, well, I'm gonna do a commercial grade because it's a municipal building, I'm not gonna put your thinner grade on there. But that's what he told me. I didn't get in the bid process when I got the guy, so I can't say, other than what he told me over the phone, to be a commercial grade.
So Abe gave us a bid to repair the roof of $36,550. That includes a bond. He is fully insured. That's all been checked and double checked. For a full roof replacement, $102,250. You have $72,250 set aside. And if there are no more questions, I will let, go ahead.
If my roof leaked, I call my insurance company. Have we checked with insurance to get this claimed on insurance?
We have not, I'm not sure about previous select boards.
We didn't have a problem. No,
No, because you put the roof on.
correct. Part of the issue here is not the roof itself, it's what's underneath the roof, which is very little insulation. And that's why you've got the son of a gun with 10-foot icicles. That's got to be taken care of also. Or you're going to come back with the same problem years from now. And even like this gentleman says, he can connect it pretty tight. But you give it enough sufficient years of this, even, it's going to crawl under that one too.
I will ask you the same question.
Have we had much for icicles since we insulated the attic?
On this roof?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the valleys,
Or
yeah.
you.
you got it. There's an air leak in someplace.
You've never put too much insulation.
No, but I'm gonna say that there's been a lot less ice as far as reaching up the roof compared to before we insulated the attic.
Most of our heat loss is probably coming from the big office, or the big room up there. I mean,
Definitely.
you only probably have 119 bats in that ceiling or something.
We had questioned it.
Insulation is the second issue that needs to be addressed. The first and foremost issue is the current roof leaks and it's degrading. So we got a couple of different proposals for folks to decide on. You want to try and fix it and limp along, or fix it and have it done for as many years as any of us can contemplate.
So how many squares is there?
believe there's 126.
Now, that original roof was a bond painted roof. The material was already painted, it wasn't painted afterwards.
Yep. That's how this was done. This is a.
I don't understand why it's popping unless it wasn't primed properly or something wasn't done correctly at the factory.
And that very well could be.
Quality of steel has a lot to do.
Yeah.
Pardon?
The quality of the steel.
Quality of the
Has a
steel.
lot to do with
But I know it's 24 gauge, that I know for a fact.
Yeah. That-
What I don't understand is that, and now that this has been brought out, it's a different situation. I was thinking the remainder of the roof was in good, reasonable shape, but with the conditions you're saying that you've seen and also photographed, unfortunately, I was one that would argue against you, and I'm not going to at this point.
Is it on both sides, front and back?
Even if you look at the valleys, just on this side, and you can see the rust very obvious there.
Is it more on this end?
No, it's pretty much all over.
Okay,
It's,
because we used to have a sand pile right back there.
some places, obviously it's degrading more than others, but if you actually get up there and you walk around, I didn't notice it when I first showed up and just looked at it from the road. Once I got up there and I saw the shape that the metal was in, I was very surprised. But, you know, it's quarter size, it's sort of hard to see from down on the road. But once you're up there, you can really see it.
And I will say, I agree with Richard. I was not in favor of originally replacing the full roof, but after having some long conversations with Abe, I changed my mind.
So you're saying we have about $93,000 put aside for this if we take the $30,000 for the bridge?
73,000 is put aside. We had 10, and then at town meeting, 63,000 was moved from the ADA and leftover sidewalk and the fire department floor. And that was also put to the roof.
But the 30,000.
This cost 103, so $30,000, what the select board is asking you this evening would be to move it from the bridge project to the roof.
So there'd be a surplus of about $2,000, that's the money we transfer.
$30,000 even. There shouldn't be a surplus.
Well, if you
72
got it- if you got it-
and 102 is 30.
Well, you tell me
Initially, wasn't
that-
it that we were gonna repair the roof, and that's why the first article has to change it from repair to replace?
Correct,
So the
yes.
60's already been moved,
No,
or the 23 and the 40 have already been moved to the roof fund, but
no.
for repair?
For repair
Right.
only. The motion that Henry made at
Right.
town meeting said repair, not replacement. So legally, we're bound by having another special town meeting to appropriate that money to replace the roof if that's the choice you choose to vote tonight.
And also Article 2 for the extra 30,000.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So that
So
brings
it's-
the total, if it all passes, we bring a total of $93,000 towards $101,000 expenditure.
Right.
No.
Well,
No.
103
Total to 103,000.
basically.
103,000.
Yes.
Yes. And your expenditures are 100.
3,000.
102, 250.
So you're gonna have something left over.
We get a
So there's
discount for
72, 250 exactly in there right now. And then the project is 102, 250.
Okay,
30,000, there shouldn't be any,
all right, I'm sorry.
any surplus.
My
No,
math
that's
is wrong.
okay.
That bridge ain't there.
So
Eric.
I can't speak to as whether or not it should or shouldn't be replaced, but I think it's crazy to take 30,000 from that bridge project, given all it would take is for the cost of fuel to go up, and it could be $50,000 or $75,000 more on that project than what was recently bid.
The bridge has already come in as a bid, so
They can't go over.
AL St. Helens is required to keep that bid to the town.
And that's about $100,000 under what we estimated would be our match.
Yeah, no, I know.
So we still would have 70 in reserve should something catastrophic happen.
Later,
But
after.
If it doesn't, once that project's done, of course, that will go back to the voters at town meeting as well.
No, I didn't realize that they were set and they couldn't put in for full bridges and stuff.
Good
yeah,
question.
it's a state bid, so they are bound by that.
I think contingencies are built in
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
On the ADA project, I know when we agreed to move the money over, the $40,000 or whatever, that will probably not leave you enough money to do that project if you move the $40,000 over at this point. That money in that bid is almost 3 years old. It wasn't done by a bid, it was done by an architect. If you use cost analysis at an average of about 10% a year for everything to go up, and you're not really getting $75,000 from that grant, you're getting $67,500. That leaves you only $27,000 to move over to the 80, that's 107. Right now, you're looking at ADA project costing between 105 and 108. Right now, if you did it this year. But don't forget, to get the grant, you have to spend $100,000 or more. So if I'm wrong, you lose money. And if I'm right, you're short. Either way, you're short on that project because we waited too long. When we did the money, we didn't put in the 20%, which you should do in cost analysis for overage. We added about 10% because of the age of the building. So even if you take only a 5% increase over 3 years, you still don't have enough money to do the ADA project if you move $40,000 out of that fund. So as long as you're willing to jeopardize the ADA project,
That's done
fix the
though.
roof.
They did jeopardize that at town meeting. That's done.
No, for repair. I'm saying now, if you're not gonna, I don't think Henry envisioned spending the entire amount of money, I could be wrong, that we moved for repair of the roof. But I'm saying right now, if you look at how much it's going to cost, and I don't think 10% a year is a lot, given the price of things that have gone up. But even if you cut it in half, you're still not gonna have enough money to do that ADA project. And let's remind everybody, it's a 30-year-old law, and the first fine is $75,000. So keep that in mind when you're moving money out of a CIP, when it's locked box for projects. There's a reason why. Because people put that money aside to make sure those projects get done. And we wait 1 year, 2 years, 3 years to do a project, the money that the town gives us, or gives the select board to do things with, prices don't go down. You know, so if we move this 40,000, I could be wrong
The
using
40,000's
5%.
been moved, Rich.
No, but if you use this $40,000.
It has to be used for the roof, because that's where it was put at town meeting.
No, it doesn't. Because if people vote no, don't use the money for repair, for replace,
But it's,
the money doesn't get used. It stays in that fund and has to be moved back to ADA.
no.
Well, if we don't replace the
It
roof,
would have to
It's
go
still
back
in
to
the
a
roof
vote.
project.
we'd have to go back to another vote.
Yes.
But if you don't use that money to repair the roof, the money doesn't get spent.
You're right, but it's still in the roof.
Right, it would have to be moved back. I'm just telling you now, it's very simple to
It still has to be
see.
used on the roof
Well,
until it was voted on.
I don't think
To
you
be
should
moved
put
somewhere else.
$100,000 into a building if you got a leaky roof either.
No,
Correct.
I'm just saying, you're not going to be able probably to do one project.
What's
If
the
you do that.
projected schedule on the ADA improvements?
We're ready to put it out to bid as soon as we can get a clear, we have to do a phase 2 testing. And it actually came back that we have to do a little more testing.
So the phase 2 is not done?
No.
Just not completed?
Correct.
Correct.
So that can cost us more money.
Once that's done, then we can go to construction.
Well, we aren't gonna be starting construction before next year.
That's probably true. We would put it out to bid.
So the ADA funds might be something we need to grapple with between now and next town meeting. Whereas the roof, we're looking to get this done next month.
Yes.
You said that there's possibly 70,000 from the bridge as well, that could go back into that anyway, right? That's what we're talking about. If possible, then that would cover what Rich is talking about.
My only concern is both projects.
No, we're trying to, we're just making sure people understand what we're talking about.
You're bringing up a good point, Rich, which, fine, this planning process for the ADA improvements is 3 years old. And yeah, whatever figures folks got 3 years ago are gonna be a little suspect. But
Bottom line is we got a roof leak.
we're gonna be in that that's gonna be a difficulty.
My problem is you don't know how
No
much that
matter
project's
what.
gonna cost. You know how much the bridge is gonna
And
cost.
Josh said it really well, it doesn't make any sense to fix the interior of the building without first fixing the roof.
No, I agree with
So if we
that.
gotta delay the ADA project somehow,
Well,
or,
what you'll probably have to do, hopefully not, is
Or
go back to the
transfer-
taxpayer and ask for more money. That's what I'm hoping you don't have to do. That's my concern. It's not that you put, well, I don't want to get fined either, but I just want to make sure that the money we put in the CIP to lock away for that project, however we do it, we have to put that money back in order to fix that. We promised the taxpayers, then they gave us $80,000 to do it. At the time, that was the right amount of money. If we spend this money on whatever we spend it on, we've got to honor that commitment, I think, and not go back to the taxpayer and ask for more money for ADA. That's my only concern, right? Not that we don't fix the roof. I mean, I brought the roof up 3 years ago in town meeting, got rocks thrown at me. So, I mean, I want the roof to be fixed more than anybody else. I've been in the roof, I've looked at the roof, I've got people come over to look at the roof. I agree with you 100%, and you can't fix that room unless the roof gets done. That's got the mold in it and everything. So, I just want to make sure that we don't rob Peter to pay Paul.
The thing is,
They
if you
already
don't rob Peter, there won't be no fault.
Well,
You gotta
I guess
look
it
at
depends on
You
your
gotta
outcome.
progress and do something. You don't, anybody who doesn't make mistakes never get anything. We gotta do something. Let's do it, we'll tackle the next issue when we get to it. But to try to correct every issue and bat 1,000 is impossible. If you're
I'm
a
not saying
baseball
that,
player and you're doing 400 or 500.
I'm not saying that, I'm not blaming anybody.
40%.
you gotta hand up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think you need to contact the insurance company and see if they're willing to do anything at all before we have this vote on what we're spending the money. If the insurance company's like, we'll pay 50% of it, then fine. Or if they say we're going to cover nothing, then we know we're covering nothing, then have this
I agree
vote.
with you, but I think we should do this vote to at least get the project going, and then we can get the insurance money after, and that's a bonus. Cause I think we gotta fix the roof. I mean.
Will they do that though? Will they let you start a project and then pay for it afterwards? I don't know.
I don't think they'll pay for any,
Yes.
they're just gonna look at it as,
A 30-year,
20-year,
2-year-old roof.
regular deterioration.
Exactly. I agree with you.
But still leaking causing damage, I know. My roof
Damage
was leaking,
inside,
same
but
thing.
not on the
Which
roof
they
itself.
might pay for the damages inside.
Which would be nice.
If they're willing to pay part of it, part of the damage underneath, whatever, that's better than us.
That's certainly
pulling all
worth,
this money
yeah,
out.
that's certainly worth looking into.
Depending on the damage in here, but as far as the roof and stuff like that, I don't hate to hold up this whole project for 8 sheets of plywood on the roof. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather get this project going instead of, because if we don't vote on this night, then we have to warn another vote. That's minimal another month out.
But that should have been something you guys looked into months ago, on
Agreed.
insurance.
Yeah, that doesn't get
We
anything
don't have
done.
a claim
That's-
until we know what the damage is, and we don't know the damages until
Nobody
it
can
goes
call,
up.
like,
in
the
reserve
roof is
fund.
leaking, is that covered under our policy?
Agreed.
There's another,
How did that work out for you guys?
We're in the process right now, quite literally, I haven't even had a chance to check my email yet today. I'm hoping that we're gonna be meeting with an adjuster probably first of next week. We're hoping what they're gonna do is help us with all the damage under the roof. The roof itself, I don't know, cause we knew about the leaks prior, and it's all in our minutes and everything, so I'm not sure what they're gonna do. We haven't had a chance, we're in the middle of the process.
So can you give folks an idea of what's happening at the school roof? Because Abe is actually at the school working now and has had a person fall through the school roof. So you want to tell us what's...
Yeah.
So if you do 2, we get a third one free?
Working on it. No, we hired Abe to replace and repair all the valleys on the 4th and 3rd grade wing above the cafeteria and the gymnasium and whatnot. He was gonna repair, I believe, 6 valleys that we were having leaks in 4 out of the 6. Plus, he had to repair a lot of the flashing around the brick of the gymnasium and stuff like that. Replace the ridge cap, replace vent flashing. Pretty much anything flashing on the roof was wrong. So he gave us a bid, we accepted it, he went up, started tearing it apart. He opened up the first valley, it wasn't great, wasn't too bad, replaced, I believe, 6 or
5 or 6 sheets of plywood, which, as long as we've been having leaks, not too bad. Opened up the second one, that's when his van fell through the roof.
Absolutely disintegrated.
And the plywood is, like you said, gone. I mean, it's been wet for so long that it doesn't have to.
He didn't really fall through the roof, his leg just went through the roof.
That's better.
Yeah.
So,
The story gets better and better.
Yeah.
so he called me immediately, we went up, walked around again, and, I mean, we're guessing, because we're not tearing apart any more of the roof until we talk with the insurance company, but, I mean, you can tell by the way the roof felt where he's torn apart compared to where it feels in other places, and it's the same. So I think we're gonna run into those problems all over the place. And then, once we stop the leaking, that's when we're gonna start addressing wet insulation and water damage and all that stuff. But first, like Josh said, we gotta get the water to stop coming in before we fix anything else.
So that's a large problem at the school. We're
We don't have
hoping to
those
cut, yeah, we're hoping to cut off that from happening here by trying to move this project forward.
One advantage this roof has over ours is the pitch. You guys have far more pitch, and this pitch is, the roof is designed for this pitch. We have a roof, material that's on our roof is not designed for the pitch that we have on our roof. So we're battling a couple of problems that you guys don't have. And then the other problem is we have so many additions on additions and pitch changes and transition changes in the roof that it's just begging to leak. And so you guys don't have those issues. You have just large, simple valleys where we have vents and air handlers and so many things to flash around.
If this gets okayed in a reasonable amount of time, when are we looking at the roof being replaced?
So, right now, we are at the school, and obviously uncovered a huge can of worms, and,
So you're thinking this fall though?
yes, definitely this fall. I'm basically gathering a much larger crew for the school to take care of it in a reasonable amount of time. It all comes down to timing with insurance and, what passes and how much we're gonna do. 'Cause that's, right now, we started off, I believe it was 65 square of roofing we were gonna redo. It's probably gonna be a decent amount more by the time we're done. But basically, all I've set aside is the school, and then I've left it right open for this place afterwards. So I have nothing else planned, so as soon as we're done with school, we'd be coming here, and we'd definitely be here and be out of here before full-fledged winter.
Okay, just a quick comment, when you pull the steel and you do find a problem, is that when you could also call the insurance company in? Okay. If you might be able to get some and continue construction.
And I take pictures as I go along.
Correct.
So they will see what the damages are, and I can fix it, and then they would basically reimburse me.
Yeah.
That's usually how that works.
Do we have any buffer money anywhere for when he pulls it apart and finds another $10,000 damage underneath that roof? Or is this just the 103 is replacing the roof with no buffer money?
Yeah, I mean, I usually will replace, I would easily replace some plywood for you guys, at that point.
Well, if it's more than, like say, if it's
What
like
I-
5-10 grand more,
I don't
do we have
believe-
a buffer anywhere?
I don't believe it's gonna be like that from when I walked up there and the way it felt, it's solid. My only concern is the very valleys where the water's entering into the building here, because it is so steep, and it hits where that hole is, it's gonna just drop in at that point. With a flat roof like the school, it's so flat to where the water can disperse and find all kinds of entryways and rot in a wider span.
I think we should be at, like, if it's, his estimate's 103, we should be at like 110, so we got a buffer in there if there is major damage in some spots.
Yeah, if there's a little reframing to do.
So we have a little extra to be like, okay, we got the money, we don't have to come back here and do this all over again for 5-10 grand.
Well, at that point, that damage is probably picked up by the insurance.
Sharon, will you or have someone from the town inspecting the work that's being done or actually done?
We can certainly have that done.
Thank you.
There will always be,
I'm not saying we suspect his work, I'm saying it's a good checks and balance.
yes.
Yeah, no, I
No, no.
mean, with past work done. Totally understand.
Well, the reason,
I will tell you right now, I'm not climbing on the roof because I have a thing with heights, but I'm happy to
Sure
come
now.
and talk to Abe every day and see what his men have
I'm
done.
gonna use one of them drones.
Yeah, there you go.
They can put you in the lift.
There you go, I'll go with that.
I think our architect has some built into the project to sign off on it.
Yep.
But
This is something that's foresters.
So, just listening, I think the corrugated steel is out. There's not even a possibility anymore, right?
what has happened through the minutes, and we went back and checked this, is on April 23rd, the select board, Randy made a motion to accept the bid from RNA Enterprises for $36,500 to do the work outlined in the original bid of repair. And Bruce seconded that motion and it was approved. We did that so that we could hold Abe's time open. So if the motion were to be changed to corrugated roof, we would have to ask Abe, which is one of the reasons we have him here, if he would consider doing that job. But we have made a commitment to him in order to keep that time open because of the difficulty we've had getting roofers.
So even if we do a new roof, no offense to Abe, but even if we don't do a new roof, we have to use Abe, is what you're saying?
We've made a commitment to Abe. Whether he would allow us out of that contract or not, we would have to discuss.
And you're saying the roof should be good for 50 years?
Yes.
How old are you? You'd be around.
I'll still be around.
I won't be, so if you want to win something.
I don't want to put a whole lot of emphasis on the warranty of any of this, okay? I'm not questioning his ability at all. Englert's a good company, but I hope you guys don't hang your hat on, we got this big warranty. Because I think all of us that are in the business know,
Poop happens.
and they find a way out. Ask the city of St. Albans with their school. They had the same problem where things were pitting, and they didn't get much out of that, was my understanding. I'm sure they got some, but nothing. So, go with a reputable person, reputable
I think
steel company.
I would back that thought, knowing that supposedly in all the years that we've been trying to fix a roof before we got positioned, we'd like to actually get the roof fixed. It would be nice, a lot of people would probably be on board with knowing that we've actually accomplished something this year. And by the way, we have accomplished a lot of things in just the last 2 years, you know, so we've done, I feel our board has been doing a pretty good job. But it is a lot involved in it, and, you know, we got 10 people pulled in 10 different directions of thoughts. So that's why you guys, folks, are here. So we can make our choices with you guys, with folks. So that's where you're at.
Yeah, trust me, we don't wanna have to ask you for more money.
No, nobody. I'm a taxpayer here as well. I don't like the idea that we have to spend anything, but it is what it is.
Kyle, my dear,
All set?
you're up.
Here we go. Need the cheaters now. Article 1, pursuant to 17 VSA 2661, shall the voters of the town of Highgate amend the amounts previously authorized pursuant to Article 11 at the 2018 annual town meeting for roof repairs of the municipal complex roof, including $23,250 surplus from sidewalk and roof floor project, and $40,000 from the town's ADA project to be utilized to replace municipal complexes' current roof with a new roof. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion.
What happens if this does get voted down?
Stays in the roof fund, because that's where it was voted to go at town meeting.
Okay? what happens to the roof?
That's why we're here.
I guess if
It's a question to the board.
Yeah, in my mind, we already approved the repair. If it gets voted down, we repair it.
We repair it. We're not gonna stop now, we're gonna make something happen.
We'll repair it for $36,500.
And repair it again 5 years from now.
Because there's, in that 36.5, there's no money set aside to repaint the rest of it, anything like that. You're just fixing those valves.
No, well, and the rest of the dormers. So all the way to the ends of each dormer.
Right, so
It's not just the ones that connect to the valley, it goes all the way to the end.
Okay. So it's just a main roof on both wings that would be left.
Yeah, and the cupola.
In the what?
And the cupola.
Yep.
Any other questions? We're ready to vote? Yes, ma'am.
I think this should be a paper ballot, because I think there should be numbers put in, because we're changing the intention of the voters' town meeting day, and I don't think should be just a voice vote.
We have seven people that don't have paper ballot.
You got
I
it.
don't know why I was prepared for this.
Would you like to
know
read the
why.
article again, or we all set?
Read it again.
Article
I'm
one.
gonna give them to the right now for the next one.
Pursuant to 17 VSA 2661, shall the voters of the town of Highgate amend the amounts previously authorized pursuant to Article 11 of the 2018 annual town meeting for roof repairs of the municipal complex roof, including $23,250 surplus from the sidewalk and floor project, and $40,000 from the town's ADE project to be utilized to replace the municipal complex's current roof with a new roof.
So you have to go replace it.
No, a yes vote says you want to take the monies that was originally set for repair to replace.
And a no goes back.
And a no goes that you want to repair the roof, not
For
replace
the
the
next
roof.
article. No cheating.
What's that?
I can get it. That's all right. So right now, they're voting to expend the money that's already set aside to do a full replacement. I already got that one.
Use this money for replacement. The money's already here.
So take it.
I don't get very many chances to speak in front of people. I'm usually talking to myself or every other guy. Yeah, I was on the planning commission.
These are, I have two.
When they wanted.
How many are there? Everybody gets one for next
I don't know how those guys do it. Vacation. 2 days?
2 weeks before Christmas, so that usually happens.
They're up there.
Oh, boy.
We're counting you, Tony, don't you worry.
One in every crowd.
That's a long
Polls are closed.
John Clarence, our JPs are gonna count.
They don't have any.
And Connie, that's right, Connie's a JP.
Well,
Thank you.
I'd be happy to let the guys do it.
Keep them honest, Connie.
I don't know, the county.
John counted. John, how many did you count? 25?
I counted 25.
That was a really good guess.
Yeah. If they did. Yeah, 26 is right.
We better count in. All in favor, 22, opposed 4. The article carries.
So we get a new roof.
Article 2. Shall the voters of the town of Highgate authorize 30,000 of anticipated surplus from the Bridge 25 Reserve Fund to be utilized to replace the municipal complex current roof with a new roof? Do we have a motion?
I'll motion.
Second? Discussion.
I'd like to make an amendment, given the fact that people have brought up maybe we don't have enough money to cover it, and we don't want to go back and for $3,000 or $4,000 if he finds something else that's wrong there. I'd like to amend the amount to $40,000, just so we have enough money in case he finds some other damage that the 102 won't cover.
It's not an open checkbook, but I don't know.
You're wrong. But I'm just concerned if we get it done, let's get it done right now to go back and get $3,000 from the voters.
And to put the money, if we don't use it, back. And put the money back. Put the money back.
But it goes back into the bridge fund, and then of course it'll be returned to the voters when the project's done.
Yes.
And if it's a big can of worms that he finds, you're 6 months into an insurance claim with a winter on, open roof in the winter.
Do we have a second on his motion, please?
Oh,
Short time.
yeah,
Second, okay, second. Discussion, go ahead.
you know, but if you get an insurance claim, they can reimburse you for your expenses. I think,
And it might take time to get that money. You know, so I just want to make sure if we're going to do a new roof, let's make sure we have enough to do the whole new roof, and that it doesn't hold him up and it gets done, rather than, like you said, have another vote for $3,000 or $4,000, or take it out of the general fund.
So I think our board has the ability to expend money if that need arises. If we do have a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $10,000, oh, by the way. So I guess I would vote against this amendment. Saying I think they would not have to come back to us to expend that money. They have that ability.
How much are they allowed to spend without a vote?
You don't have any contingency. Zero.
As a board, in my opinion, you guys have the authority to fix what needs to be done to our town.
You just have to pull it from somewhere else.
Which most of the time is going to require a vote of townspeople.
So would you retract that, Rich? Are you retracting?
No, I think it's a good idea. I don't think I want to put you guys in a position to
Just
have
so
to
they know
spend
what
money.
they're doing.
But in thinking of that too, if it has to go to insurance, if you've already paid for that, the insurance company isn't gonna work as hard. If he's waiting for some money and you're short of money, they may do something. But if you've got everything paid, they're gonna say, hey, you could afford it. There's the other option.
So we have to vote on the amendment first.
You have to vote on the amendment first. Yes. Any more discussion?
So if we vote no with the amendment, it goes back to the original article?
Correct.
Correct.
Right.
So reread what the amendment is, please.
Article 2, shall the voters of the town of Highgate authorize 30,000 of anticipated surplus from the Bridge 25 Reserve Fund to be utilized to replace the municipal complex current roof with a new roof.
And the amendment added
The
40.
amendment has added $10,000. We have an amendment on the floor, seconded to add $10,000 to that to make it $40,000. So what we're voting on right now is to amend the 30,000 to 40,000.
Do we need a paper ballot?
Ms. Bjork?
It seems to me Henry's logic is right here. If you had a project that went over, every project you did, you had to go back to the voters to get that money. That doesn't sound right to me at all.
Let me just remind Henry that you're the one put that on the floor, and that's why we're all here tonight.
Well, this is something.
Originally,
Yeah.
from town meeting.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do it proper, and by
Yes.
doing it
But at
proper,
the
we
same
feel
time,
that we keep people
I feel your
happy.
pain. You guys got pinched. Probably not you guys specifically, some years ago, on a situation, and I feel everybody's gun shy now. And I'm saying, you are our leaders. I don't think anybody's gonna question you. If Abe says, look, I just found 10 sheets that I wasn't anticipating, I don't think anybody's gonna crawl on you guys for doing that.
Thank you. I agree with you.
So that's my, I guess,
Yeah.
my defense against the article.
Yeah.
I just want to ensure there's enough money. That's all I care about.
No.
And Henry feels that we could handle it on that part of it without that.
I mean, are you guys willing to spend general fund money? If it goes over by a couple $1,000s, will you be able to do that without jeopardizing any programs to the bill, or the town?
We have $8,000 budgeted for buildings maintenance if need be.
Okay, so that's yes then, right?
So yes.
Okay, then I'll remove my amendment then. If you have that much money left over, I think it shouldn't cost more than that.
Thank you, Rich.
Yep.
So the motion has been
Rescinded.
rescinded.
Yeah.
The amendment, the motion, my apologies, thank you. So, we're back to the original article. Article 2, shall the voters of the town of Highgate authorize 30,000 of anticipated surplus from the Bridge 25 Reserve Fund to be utilized to replace the municipal complex current roof with a new roof? All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No. The ayes appear to have, the ayes do have it. Article 2 is passed. I believe we can ask for adjournment. Motion to adjourn. Second? Second. In favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Now, nobody has to leave. We got a meeting there. Y'all stay.
Yeah, we didn't use our voice vote.
Very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, right.
See you later.
Thank you, Clarence. I guess thank you for everybody in our garage.
It's all a part of the
I'll leave it running and start. If not on time, start. That way I don't forget to turn
Given opportunity.
So not just being on the bridge, so it gives us this town back $100,000. Yep. And that's a good way to do it.
Like that?
George, you're not signed in, you go.
When we pound it down.
Have you ever done with the X-rays too?
Yep. Done it that way. Which if it's big enough, it essentially will work. This is water here would be the whole center, and then it would go up a whole for this, I would just do 2 layers.
Hey, let's keep this moving.
You're not staying. I don't care where you go, you just can't stay.
That's Shelley's.
Yeah, I wanted to help you out. The motion.
Yes. They put your French car down. Well, that was rude.
Okay, nobody's interested in regular town business?
What's new?
I told him to stay.
Okay, we're ready, Jerry.
Got your time down?
Okay.
Is this the same video?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the regularly scheduled July 19th meeting of the Highgate Selectboard. We have done our Pledge of Allegiance already. Before we open it up to public comment, I would like to express our sympathy to Jerry, our cameraman, in the loss of his wife. Jerry, we are very sorry for your loss and wish you only the best, and please, yeah, if you need anything, you give a shout out to Heidi and we'll do our best to accommodate you.
Thank you very much.
Well, very sorry. So I will open up to public comment. Is there anything that is not already on the agenda that everyone would like to comment? Yes?
Can we get a brief synopsis of the real estate transactions, the auctions?
The real estate transactions was slightly disappointing. We were able to sell the property off 78, but had no bids on the other two properties. We did have a minimum starting bid. Since that time, I have reached out to Fish and Wildlife about the Cherry Hill property, to see if they have any interest in it. And we'll proceed from there. The Elwood property is legally bound by the court system, so that will have to go back through the court. And that's a decision that the select board will have to consider.
What did we get for the 78?
28,000 in Belco purchased it.
Belco purchased it.
4 point something, 4.2.
Where did those funds go?
Right now, it was just deposited into the general fund under,
Couldn't remember if we had a motion to put it somewhere after the sale.
there wasn't any, so that'll be brought up at town meeting, what they wanna do with those surplus of funds.
Okay, thank you.
Feels like we did.
Yeah, I thought there was. I thought there was a motion to put it somewhere, I don't remember where, but then.
I'll go back and look.
I actually think it was to reduce the tax rate in the town.
That's what I wanna say, but.
But yes, we would have to double check that.
Well, good thing we didn't set the tax rate yet.
There you go, hey! Any little bit we can do is wonderful. Any other comments?
Just to let you know, Sharon, the state was back down on our flooding part. They were down there again today. They only had one contract from Rutland Tree Service. They were waiting for somebody else to go down there. I don't know if the guys showed up, but things are starting to move. What they're looking at is cutting the trees and wrapping that bank. It's gotta be done. It's really working and it's gotta be taken care of. And I told you guys I would keep you posted what I know so far. And that's what I know so far.
Okay. Any other public comments?
I'll just bring something forward from the school. The vice principal visited today and they have plans to start doing the ALICE trainings, which are emergency prepared for attacks, things like that. And they have asked to be able to use this area as part of a drill. So if you can hear Contel, which I think it wanted to come to a meeting, but suggested the church too. So they're just looking, they have to have a few spots to perform the drills.
So, just in the interest of fairness, can I have a motion to allow the school to use the community room for emergency preparedness?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So yes, you're welcome to use our room.
Room in the parking lot. They thought if it's nice out, they'll be outside, but
It's fine. Yes, unfortunately, we live in a day where we have to protect our children. All right, any other public comments?
Just getting back to that, Sharon, I did find the Zeb made the Maskell. Zeb Maskell made the motion. Eric seconded that it will be used to reduce the taxes, so.
Okay.
Well done.
It's right here.
There you go.
Ask and you shall receive.
So, speaking of our treasurer.
Yes.
How about
Is it my turn
treasurer
already?
update? Yes.
Holy
Can
smokes.
we make a motion and jump around with it, so this gentleman can go home to his.
I agree.
Yes.
Let's
yes,
get
let's
out of
do
here.
that. So, do we have a motion to expend the funds that were just allowed to us to replace the roof on the municipal building?
I'll make that motion to replace the roof for, it's that 102,250, right?
Correct.
To replace the roof on municipal building for 102,250.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you very much for putting up with all of us,
Yep, no
being
problem.
our scapegoat, but it was a.
Was this your first time in this situation?
Well, no, I was at the school.
Only Highgate.
Yeah, it was very, very small.
Yeah, yeah, I was there.
But thank you for answering the questions.
Yeah.
We didn't have a large turnout, but at least they were informed. So I thank you for that.
What color are we getting?
Any color you want? I can actually leave you guys with
Pick a color.
blood red. I'll bring you guys a color you want to vote on it. All right, so you guys are all set with me?
We are all set. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Have a good night. Have a good night, guys.
So if you need roof work, Abe is at the school work.
Get me in Highgate for a little while.
Yeah. I'm gonna go down, lock it.
Christmas, probably.
Okay.
Okay, I'm coming.
All right.
It's been busy.
Certainly has.
I feel like I've been on vacation, another select board meeting. Okay, I'll start with the check warrant. Did you guys have questions on the check warrant? I know Sharon had a few. I forwarded her
Yes.
some
Thank
invoices.
you very much. And I would like to bring up, we don't always know where the money goes, or the general public doesn't, but I didn't realize that part of marriage license money went directly to the state.
Most.
So that was something I learned out of this when I saw that. I'm
We
like,
do all the
what?
work and then
We
we
have, yeah, we have to pay for this? What the heck? But that along with dog licenses,
Right.
most of that goes to the state for that money. That does not stay primarily with the town, so it was.
$5 for every dog, and a marriage license now costs you $70, and we keep 10, and that is for their certified copy.
So make sure you're at least worth, $70.
So the state definitely gets their fair share every quarter.
Wow, yeah. So,
There's that.
is there any other questions about the?
This could be a deal breaker.
So sometimes, don't feel afraid to ask any questions here, because
The state should
sometimes I ask dumb questions.
The state should get the $10 and we keep the rest.
Well, yeah.
Big.
Yeah, doesn't work that way. The other thing that's under mine on the agenda is the copier RFPs. I did send out 3 Office Solutions of Vermont, Canon copier, and SimQuest. We received all 3 back. Randy's not here. I did ship them off to him. And they're also, all of the bids are on our website so people could compare. It's hard to do an apples to apples when they're not even offering the same machine. But the 3 of us opened the bids, reviewed the bids, and would like permission to move forward with the Canon bid, which would save us significant money. When I did the RFP, I included supplies. And last year, just last year, I need my notes, see, I'm not organized yet. It was too quick, you guys called me too quick. Toner. We spent over $4,000 in toner alone. Toner is included in this bid. So our base monthly fee to US Bank, which is who we have now, is $281 a month, which is about $3,500 a year. This new Canon one would be a base of $71 for our large copier, and also the smaller color copier, which is used less frequently. But when you have 3 researchers, a lister, a zoning administrator, and the 3 of us in the office, 2 copiers is a necessity. So it'd be $71 base, and then with 9,000 copies, it would be an added, if we did up to 9,000, which is what our current contract is with US Bank, it would be an additional $45. So you're talking half the cost a month plus the savings of 4,000 on toner alone.
Do we do this yearly?
This is a 5-year, 60-month contract. The last one was a 5-year, 60-month contract. Wendy and I talked about a 4-year, because right now, we have a few months left of ours. And I don't know if you have any recent copies on your desk, but it is dead. It's on its last leg for sure.
Do they guarantee like pretty copies? I mean, in 4 years, if this machine's wore out, they bring in another machine?
Yes, they do, and also all the maintenance is included in this contract as well, so I can let you see this.
In other words, if something wore out, they in between that time.
Brian Claudio came to me about a year and a half ago, and at that point, we weren't ready to do anything. Our contract wasn't up with US Bank, which is currently Simquest.
Yep.
Their financing is with the US Bank. But Pete Sabinsky at Simquest, Brian Claudio through Canon, and what's that guy's name? I don't remember the office systems. Yeah. Richard. He's brand new. I had the RFP just about done when he came into the office and was like, hey, just thought I'd stop by. Now, perfect timing. I need 3 bids.
How many copies do we currently do a year?
Well, we have it set to 9,000 because in the months where we are printing tax bills and
Yeah.
delinquent notices and dog notices, it can get up there. On average, it's closer to between 5 and 6.
Yeah. Cannon's a pretty good name in the pretty world.
And that's what we currently have, and I will say it holds up. It can handle everything we throw at it. And the features it has work well for everything we need. You don't need anything super fancy. Staples are nice.
Well, I think the motion to approve that.
Okay, do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Am I still here? Yeah.
Prove it Cannon.
So, the next thing that was given to me yesterday, and I said I would bring it to you guys this evening, our new Parks and Rec director has started in the beginning of July, and Rob Sweet. He's been doing a wonderful job, I believe, at checking off some much-needed to-dos, and one of those to-dos was the website. So people can go onto MyRec, find the schedules, sign their children up. All of the surrounding towns use MyRec. I know he did 3 demos since he started, and MyRec was price-wise, what they had to offer, and user-friendly. I mean, it was the one that they chose. They budgeted $3,000 for their website. The bid that came back from MyRec was $32.95, so it's over $295. So they did a good job ballparking what they thought it would cost for the website.
Shoot from the hip on
Right.
the price. We had.
So if you want to see that, they were hoping to get authorization to move forward, getting that situated before the fall sports are upon us.
The other $300 just come out of one of the line
Yeah.
items.
I have a feeling they'll be bringing in a little bit more revenue this year with someone to run and facilitate programs that we wouldn't necessarily be able to offer in past years with volunteers.
And online is so much.
How much revenue do we do over there?
Well, right now it's basketball, indoor
Yeah.
soccer, outdoor soccer,
Ice rental.
No.
separate.
So revenue on your sheet is only revenues generated through the program. Now, it won't include your ice rentals from Missisquoi High School and Maha, because they won't run
We're
through,
not signing up.
that you won't sign your participant up through that.
Okay. I just see, obviously, it steps up if we go over 100K, you
Mhm.
know, with ice rental.
So it would be parents signing their children up for programs offered
Gotcha.
through recreation, that revenue, not us selling ice time to
Gotcha.
other organizations.
Now, if we offer to sell, 1 hour ice on the website for a birthday party, for example, that would go towards that revenue, but not for established customers.
Yeah, I don't think we'll do 100K.
No.
Be awesome.
Yeah, it would be. And it's nice to see the cornhole tournaments.
Right.
And the archery class for kids. That's great.
He has a lot of ideas as well that I.
What are his current hours, in case people are wondering?
He is currently there Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. That will be changing probably around 1st of August, to accommodate other programs that we start offering. And then if we're gonna set, in our August meeting, we plan on setting, no matter what time of year it is, there'll be a 2 or 3 hour block that he's dedicated to office, so that people can call and know that there's always gonna be, if they don't answer, it'll be a return call within that time frame.
Does he have time to, I know he doesn't have time to mow right now, set stuff up, but would he have time to borrow one of our weed whackers and weed whacker in the facility?
Potentially, yeah.
I just know it's
Does
not.
Brian not do that when he mows?
I don't know. Did I notice being at soccer field the other night around the swing set,
We talked
especially?
about that. We talked about that tonight, actually.
I just figured if he's there, he could come over and grab a weed whacker and just clean that up a little
Brian plans on
bit.
hitting
It'll
that
look pretty good.
Wow.
Pole too.
The only other thing I was gonna hope for, Sharon.
How about the fixed asset? How's that? Okay.
Well, that's a lot of research, so.
Were you looking approval on that one? Sorry, on MyRac?
Yes, I
Yes.
was. Did you
Yeah.
make a motion on that yet?
No, we're not.
No, so let's finish that. Let's
Yeah,
make-
sorry, that's one more.
Yep.
Before we,
Good.
I'll make the motion to approve MyRac for the rec department.
Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
32.
Aye.
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 Are you authorizing
Yes, we are authorizing.
somebody to sign that contract?
Yes.
Do you want myself?
Yes.
Do you wanna sign it?
My motion will be to allow Shelley to sign that contract.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll give that motion.
So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
Okay.
Now the fixed asset inventory.
So Sullivan Powers came one day, late June, and we got a lot of it done, but there's a lot that we're still researching, to the point where I've had Charlie Nye come in and talk about cemeteries, Gerald Dexter to come in and help me about when did we receive the boat launch? Questions like that, they're going way back, so Gerald Dexter's been in to speak with me. Pat had to go, and he just said this before he left, and they're going back to 2004. So any piece of road that's been paved, we needed miles and dates, locations. So it's me, I'm gathering that information still, entering it in and forwarding it to them. But we are moving forward, and I would say all of the vehicles and most of the properties are done. Now it's the hard stuff, a few land pieces that go way back, cemeteries, and the roads, the infrastructure of the town. So it's not gonna be an overnight project, but we'll get there.
Baby steps.
Right, I mean, we're certainly in better spot than we were last year with none of it.
Did they give you guidelines or deadlines and all that?
Well, no, because it's, so what it does is it allows us to meet the governmental accounting standards. And until we start tracking, we're always gonna have that little ding on our audit that says we don't meet the standards because we don't track this. So, we will probably have that ding on this audit as well, because we're already into this fiscal year. We're not tracking it yet.
Yeah.
But this would be the last fiscal year that we have that ding moving forward.
Yeah.
It's cleared, we
Yeah.
meet the governmental accounting standards.
Cool.
And, yeah, it
Great.
opens up, I believe, more opportunities for federal grants. You know, they wanna know that you are following.
Best practice.
Right, exactly, so.
Good.
The only other thing I was gonna touch on was, I do still have a few bills coming in from last year, but I would say all of the departments ended very well. You know, the cemetery had almost 3,000 left over. Charlie and I did mention he has a tree that he needed cutting. I'm not sure if he went forward with that or not. The fire department had over $2,000. Parks and Rec, 5,000, but again, the 3 was for, this.
And the
Yeah,
15
and-
for livestock, or 14 something.
No,
Oh, yeah,
that's-
tracking looks good, yes.
After, that was, the other 2 was for your tractor.
Okay, okay.
The library ended well, 11,000. They don't normally end that high. I believe purchases maybe that are made, weren't made this year due to the circumstances with personnel. The arena had 8,000. I do know they have some hood issues, and Rob was working on getting a quote for
We've had
fixing.
two show up so far, and they're just waiting on paper quotes to come back, so.
General fund ended with a positive 66, but keep in mind 35 of that is people prepaying their taxes. So people are really trying to stay ahead and out of the delinquent mode, which I'm thrilled about.
And we do appreciate all of the boards and committees that work to try to stay within their budgets. It makes our job a lot easier so that we don't have to keep coming back and asking for money.
Oh.
Okay. On that nice, good note there about finishing well, maybe we can have the conversation with Ty about the recreation grant. Adjusting the amount.
Yes. So, the $10,000 that was put into the CIP last town meeting for the storage shed at the arena site. For, you know, a combined, I'm assuming Little League, a little bit of Maha, a lot of Parks and Rec. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tom.
Oh, you're correct.
Okay, and this year, the planning commission had anticipated asking for 8,000 from the taxpayers, with the anticipation of getting a grant.
Your
The-
match.
Well, it's a 50% match. So they received one quote-ish on a building, and they've decided that we are under budget,
Funded.
funded. So with having 18,000, and we can go up to $20,000 on the grant.
The
$20,000
grant maximum is 25. We could go
25.
as much as a $50,000 project with 25 match, but.
We were thinking, if we asked, and again, this will be part of the planning commission meeting that I go to as well with the CIP. If we bumped up that 8 to 10, that would give us a $20,000 match.
What was your quote?
36 was under budget, underfunded.
We, well, we sat down with Ryan and he said,
So, Ty, speak up so we can all hear you.
Okay.
No sense of you two pointing out the rest of us being in there.
Okay, so, and it's really a rough idea, to get something started for grant wise. It was, correct me if I'm wrong, Heidi, 24 by 36 building, with half of it being for the Recreation Commission. The other half would be used for Little League and Maha needs, and we would have come up to some agreement of
rental or something?
Of some sort for that. It would be, we started with it being a block building. After, I just went outside tonight and talked to a couple contractors that are interested in quoting us. Their ideas were stick build plywood walls and then put metal siding. So I think that'd be more feasible for us. We won't know for probably a couple of weeks to get a quote on that, but at least it's moving in the right direction, giving us some options. Would be 3 overhead doors, 1 main door, shed style roof, you know, a garage or something that, you know.
No heated space.
No heated space, some electrical, potential for a water line there for ever needed that, for that need, but no heated space. A garage that we feel that is big enough to meet our needs in the future also. So we don't come in 5 years and say, hey, guess what, we outgrew this building, how can we start?
Definitely need something.
It doesn't make sense to have George Bridge come down every spring and every fall to put turf into a 48-foot tractor trailer box and then ask a farmer or a business to move that. We don't have the equipment to do it ourselves.
Well, the trailer is in poor shape, I'm told, and
The poor shape when we got it.
yeah,
10 years
the
ago.
person I asked to move it this year was afraid to move it, was not certain it would make the trip.
Wow.
And we're talking a 1.5 mile trip.
Right, so.
So,
I remember when those things came over from Newport area, I was the guy trucking them.
Well, power to them, but, so, that, we feel as a board that that would, you know, and then down the road, if we needed space, we could put a lean-to on the building for things that could be cold stored, you know, at least it's still out of the weather, and it implements to that tractor or soccer nets or.
I guess my ask would be, make sure the rec commission has the largest section, because I mean, you're gonna have a tractor, equipment, lawnmower, whatever. you
Yeah.
know.
Absolutely.
So the
We
thought,
build it for our needs, no offense to
Right.
Little League or Maha,
Right,
but we build it for our needs, not,
exactly, and if we can accommodate them
Great.
and have our needs met also, then
Yep.
it's a win for everybody.
the Little League building over there now is pretty tired.
it is. And we thought if we bumped up the 8,000 to 10, that would give us 20. If we could get a $20,000 grant, would put us at 40,000 versus 36.
Then we might be able to do it under that budget, but they would get what they needed, and we wouldn't be short.
So that's on a slab?
That would be on a slide.
So you gonna do much groundwork as far as bringing in sand or anything like that?
I don't believe it needs much, maybe a few tandem of crushed stone for hard base, but that whole property is sand.
So I just bid on one for my son, and there'd be 2 feet of sand that we'd be bringing in, but we were right around 30,000
30.
for a bell that size.
With power?
And he had a steeper roof with a little bit of hay storage above.
And that's a family discount.
Well, not necessarily, just so he could go to the bank.
Well, Brian got that concrete experience, you know, it's such a nice job out here.
The other thing is, if we were to apply for the 20, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to expend the 20,
Right.
but it would be available
I don't think
to us.
Okay, so what do you need from the select board?
Are you looking for a motion to
Yes,
apply for
we're-
20?
We need a
We
motion,
only-
because your
we
previous
need to see
motion was
We will
only to
have
apply for
18
15.
after.
So we would
Next time.
apply for
If it-
$20,000
Paid for a
grant.
basically.
Wouldn't it make more sense to get some
Yeah.
prices first?
That's what we're doing. We sent it out to 5 contractors, and one came back and said, I think you're seriously underfunding, and then Ryan came in and he went through it, and he said, I don't think you've asked for enough money to make this happen. So we have to submit it by the 31st, so we'll be getting some more bids, but I won't have time to come back to you. And it sounds like through these conversations, Bernie
I'll
was
make
not
that
gonna
motion
be.
for the money difference that you need.
To apply for the grant,
Right, at this point, it's just applying.
That's right.
because we
It
can.
doesn't have to be expended.
Yeah,
If it-
exactly.
Honestly, if it doesn't cost 40,000, we're not gonna spend 40,000.
Right.
Well,
I'm gonna put Benjamin in there for me.
No.
It's not a bad idea, though.
Yeah.
do we have to have monies in place?
We have 10,000 already in the CIP.
Already.
Yeah.
And the planning commission has already set aside 8 to ask for next year. We could very easily bump that to 10, which is 2,000 more, or we, again, may not even need to bump that
No,
up.
I understand, I just,
So they were anticipating needing around 20,000 as a match.
Okay.
I'm more inclined to go for the maximum amount and then back off. Because it gives us more flexibility. And right now, I have no idea what garages cost per square foot.
How large was the one you, same size?
Roughly the same size, but we're doing quite a bit more sand work, so. And this was just very ballpark numbers, so.
Right.
The 30,000
But
range.
you had storage up top, too.
I had some storage up above. It was an attic truss rather than just a,
Yeah,
so, you know, there's probably $3,000-$4,000.
Take good
right there.
care.
So this is to apply for a
Apply.
grant that is a 50% match. So asking for basically $40,000, 20 from the town and 20 from the grant, if we were to be approved. So do we,
I'll make that motion for the 20,000, right?
There's room.
do I have a second?
I'll second the motion to approve the apply for the grant.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
So if you don't get the grant,
Then
you're not getting a shed.
Square one.
Right, you're back to, we
Could
still
work
have
that way.
10,000. Right.
Old-fashioned
We'll keep plugging away at the
I was
CIP
just gonna say.
until we,
You know?
Is there any kind services applied to this grant?
No,
cash match.
Yeah.
Think I'm finally done?
I think you're finally.
But if we were to have a person in the audience that wanted to give us a family discount, we would be willing to accept that.
Or if there's any businesses that would want to donate material.
Well, I think if, when push comes to shove, I think there's enough contractors in the village here that
Could throw it up.
we could do something.
Sorry, Don.
And
Got a couple already.
And I think that is,
Yeah,
10
Oh,
for 9
there.
foot door for to get the tractor in. So it lifted,
So for this grant, we have to have, we're allowed to submit up to 3 letters of support. So we were asking for one from the select board, one from MAHA, and one from RAC, but I didn't change that at the bottom. So if you approve that, I'll fix it for you, you can send it later.
so yes, we just approved it, right?
Yeah, just, so
Yes.
that's just the letter of support that goes with it.
So yes, so yes, we will support you, we'll
thank you,
go forward with that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right.
Clerk? Yes, your minutes from, it was a whole month ago almost.
I missed a week in there.
Vacation. It was a nice break.
So, do I have a motion to accept the minutes from June 21st, 2018?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I abstained because I wasn't there.
Correct.
Okay. We have a state primary election coming up
Tuesday, August 14th. Absentee ballots are available now. You can call me, email me, stop in. If you choose to vote the day of the election, Shelley and I will be at the school from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Probably longer than that actually, but that's when the polls are open. So that is not too far away. Summer Sounds Concert Series. We are 2 concerts in. Knock wood, we've had great weather the last couple weekends. Have you been filming those, Jerry? Yes?
Just one.
Just one? So, there's another one this Sunday, of course. Here's the schedule. Every Sunday with the exception of Field Days weekend. So, I try to post a lot of info on the concerts and it looks like they're being well attended, so hopefully everyone is enjoying those.
I really liked how they set it up this year. They're behind the monument with the pavilion kind of as their stage area, and it's nice. Gives them room, they're not parking on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I
See, the
agree.
fire department could sell hamburger and hot dogs, make money there.
There you go. Or heading on charity.
You gonna come and join that?
Right?
I'll buy you the hamburgers and hot dogs, you can cook them.
We are trying to wrap up dog licensing desperately. The deadline was April 1, but
A little late.
let's put it this way. We're at 856 dogs, which is right about where we were last year. We just sent out the 3rd round of municipal fines. The first round of fines we sent out, there were 31 tickets. This round there were only 4. So we have 4 dog owners that are not getting it.
Or their dog passed away.
No, no. No. So Bonnie and I will continue to work on that so we can close the year out. I don't want to be collecting taxes and licensing dogs. It's not a good thing. So that is almost wrapped up. And the last thing I have, the land records preservation project that we talked about back in March. 11 volumes in the vault were sent away to be redone. They are back. It took over 3 months, but they are gorgeous. It was very expensive, but we talked about that before. It was just shy of $29,000 to fully restore 11 volumes. So
That ate half of your preservation.
it did. It ate half of my preservation fund, but that's what it's for.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's our responsibility
It
to
is.
keep those records.
It is. The books that we restored were literally falling apart. The bindings were falling apart. The covers were disintegrating. The pages were so faded, they were barely legible. So I'll continue to build the fund back up and send a much more out. So yeah, those are back. I feel much better. I did not like looking in there, seeing all those empty spaces, but they're back. So that's
So,
it.
those were in the 80s, back to the 80s?
No, the books we sent out were volumes 17 through 27. They were more early 1900s.
Oh, really?
It was the paper. It was very acidic. The ink literally was just fading away into the paper. You could barely read them. But you look at them now and it's amazing, but very expensive. So,
40-year boy.
yeah, that is it for me.
Okay, fantastic. You want to mention your, does the public get to vote on the best?
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Okay. Alright, sorry about that.
Yeah,
Administrator items.
I think it was 6 steps and nothing.
So, I wanted to talk about the passive grant, which, sorry, Randy's not here. He's been the primary point of contact on that. But he did talk with Jason from MEI. So we got a new quote. It's in your Dropbox, and it does cover both banks. And So with the server, 7 cameras, 1 exterior camera, the switch, it has to be in a locking cabinet for the grant to cover it, cable and hardware. It was just under 10,000. And then for the fob system to serve the fire department, it would just be another nodule, and it'd be like another $750 and then $5 per fob. So,
Okay, so what we're talking about is putting cameras in the building. We originally had talked about putting cameras in just this section of the building, but we have had some issues in the fire department with some things going on and people tampering with the equipment. So we're looking for cameras in there, and we're looking for cameras in the highway department, because those are big ticket items. Simple. Those are our biggest assets. So we've asked for additional cameras on that, and that's what this is about, is to give us a quote on what it would cost us to make that happen.
we did meet with someone else to try and get a comparison bid, but this is the company that we've been working with. That system will be integrated with the arena so that it could be monitored.
Controlled from here.
Controlled.
Had you spoke with Randy on it? Street here?
Yeah, Randy had called this guy
And he handled that part.
and told him what he
I
wanted.
think it's the same use, system Randy uses that works, so.
Yeah.
And what are how much are our grants cover about?
So that's the grant, and it would need the municipal officer's signature there. So we can spend up to 10,000 and get 5 back, and that was built into your capital budget as well. That's an annual opportunity, so we built it in this year.
Not capital, just regular.
Okay.
So
it's in your- it's in your
basically, we're
budget.
gonna get $9,600 in cameras and doors stuff for $5,000.
Yes.
And we have that money in our budget.
Yes.
Yes.
Passive grant is something that you can apply for every year, so I started adding it into the budget.
Okay.
Well, I make a motion.
Is this enough for what you're gonna need? By that, I mean, do you feel a couple years down the road, you're gonna need to add cameras?
I remember talking to Randy, this is very expandable.
But what we're finding at the arena now, where we went with passive and got what we needed for some of it, and knowing that we would need more, it gets expensive to add on. And we're finding where it's almost more expensive
To add on cameras or doors?
cameras. So, just so you know, make sure it's what you're gonna need for a little while, because it's expensive. That's what we're finding using the same vendor.
So I will tell you that,
Sorry.
go ahead.
The cameras at the rink is not the same vendor, I don't believe. It's the same vendor for the locks, the door locks, but not the cameras. This is,
I think that's true.
The
This-
5 added, the 2 originals are not the same vendor, the 5 added were added with the phones.
okay.
So I will tell you that we had an incident in the highway department where someone was able to get into the building and access the building and get into this center section in the middle of the night. The police basically won't do a flippin' thing unless you have a picture of somebody. So this gives us at least coverage of our inlets and outlets so that we can go after somebody.
So it covers what we, covers enough to protect you for some years.
Right. Yeah, we don't, we could always put a camera everywhere, but if we can at least see who's coming in and out.
So these cameras are gonna pick up something in the dark?
Yes.
Yeah, it's supposed to be infrared.
And have you looked locally as far as trying to accomplish this?
Bid was put out.
Yeah, this went out to bid 2 years ago now.
This is Mike's Electric. They're out of J.
And how long is this information gonna be kept?
Boy, that's a good question. I don't recall.
I want to say it's up to a month, but I'm not certain. Where?
That's a rainbow.
It was longer than I felt we would need.
It was quite a
I don't
while.
remember what the exact time frame was, but if something was to happen, we could go back. I mean, it wasn't a whole year, but.
I think it would be a month.
A month?
Just sometimes
At
you,
least-
things come up missing, it's like, oh, no, that's been gone 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's by no means perfect, but it's a start to try to.
But that night, that person made it in here. I mean, we saw snow, we saw prints, wet boots and everything, and we knew someone was in here, but we had no idea why. Nothing is missing.
Looking for someplace warm.
The theory was someone went off the road or something that night, and we think someone came in to try to get someone to help that person. I think that was the theory we came up with, because it was like 5 or 6 in the morning or something.
It was.
You know,
That
I
back
mean,
door
that time
was
of the
open.
morning, usually criminals aren't up. So I'm
Criminals
over. They were out patrolling till about 2 in the morning, and then
It was an equal opportunity.
equal opportunity.
Okay, so.
Usually not the most motivated souls, so much other criminals.
So what's our feeling about this
I like it. I think
$9,674?
it's good. I mean, as a good reputable company, I'd make a motion to approve it.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll make that second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Okay, I will need your signature.
Also, one other thing about that, it gives these girls a little bit more security as well, because we've had some incidences in the office where it's been scary for these people, and this gives them a little bit more security of, well, what happened, where it happened, who was that person, you know, some people just come in, start screaming at poor Wendy or Shelley or Heidi, and I was like, who the hell was that, but.
Does it take audio too?
No.
I don't believe so.
I hope not. After they leave, it's please,
There goes the rate, Jerry.
So they get your freeze and you can watch it on a cell phone.
Okay.
So, just moving on the project update. So the dam update is that it's happening, it's on track, should be done middle of August. And they were happy to say that they gave the old bladder to farmers.
Cow matting.
And they were able to use it for cow matting, so.
I don't know.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
There you
Yeah.
go.
A happy ending for that. So that should be good for another 25 years. And the dehumidifier project, and maybe Ty, you could give us an update on that?
Yeah, what I know, the gas line was bored, pulled through. I met with, I don't know the guy's name off the top of my head, today to come look. He was filling permits out through the state to hook up gas. He was a sub for preferred. He needed the BT, building usage of what we currently use, so, for the permit. Alpha was there today, left after not having what they needed, and I think they plan on coming back tomorrow to start hardwiring. I got an email from John Mead last week, or beginning of this week, They're on track, should be going on a truck. I don't wanna say higher dates, but I don't have it pulled up right now, but should be going on a truck soon, and it looked like, potential that if all the stars align, start up September 3rd.
So, we're on track.
And I will say, and maybe you already know this, but the insurance already paid us to pay them, so money is in hand for that
It's an
project.
important piece.
Okay, moving right along, I have 2 applications for road name approval for new developments, no more Easy Street, I could do that once.
So Daniel and Lisa Brusso are looking to propose a road name of Maple Lane, and the road is off Darlene Drive. That is the first one, and the second one is Diesel Leduc Properties LLC is proposing to have a road name of Deso Drive, which is off Lambton Street. Deso Drive, that is a renaming of a road, was that originally put it under something else?
No, I think that's what they originally started with, and then they thought about changing it. But they did revert it back to their original.
Okay. And at this time, both of these are private lanes?
Yes.
I think one of them has checked the wrong box though. I
Yeah,
didn't touch it.
Brusso's says town road.
And these would typically be approved by the road foreman too, I think.
Okay.
But-
So, do we have any comments or questions about Maple Lane and Deso Drive?
As long as it's a private road, I guess.
Maple Lane would be a private road?
They both are, yeah.
It's a town road, I think that says we.
There's nothing else close to those names?
Not that I can, don't believe so. That's what the road foreman usually does, just go through the list and double check, but. So then it goes to the listers for 911 numbers, and that brings me to the next topic, the,
We have to approve those.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve both of those roads.
Okay, do I have a second? All
As
those in favor?
private roads.
Yes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed. And I propose that since you're a road commissioner, you get to sign them.
Just select board though.
It's all right. You're a select board member.
That's true.
I'm okay with that.
so on that same topic, I copied you on the road ordinance, the 911 road naming ordinance. We don't have a signed copy of that. It was signed years ago, I don't know, Richard, was there, maybe Henry. It was signed, but we don't have a signed copy. So ideally, this board would readopt it and sign it so that we have an effective policy. So I put it in there last time, but if you're not,
So were you able to look at that and have a feeling for that? Are you okay with signing it, or do you need a moment? Okay.
What was the policy?
your 911 road naming policy, just saying that all roads would be reviewed and measured by the 911 coordinators,
Yeah.
which in Highgate are our listers, and then assigned numbers.
Because that changed at one time. I think our town administrator used to do it. And they went to the listers at one point.
That was
My
long
recollection.
before me.
I think when David was here. And I think it got switched.
I don't think that original copy had